So far, we have looked at how the ECAM system advises you of minor failures. We will now look at what happens when there is a serious failure that requires immediate action. To demonstrate this, we will use an engine fire. As before, we will not concentrate on the system failure but on ECAM indications and procedures. Be ready to cancel the warning by pressing a master warning push button. Click on the forward arrow to initiate the failure. When the fault occurs, the ECAM system alerts the crew orally and visually. You hear a continuous repetitive chime and see the master warning lights flashing. Press one of the master warning push buttons to cancel the master warning lights, stop the chimes, reset the alerting system. On the engine warning display, the red message Engine 1 Fire and the associated procedure are displayed. The red indications on the fire panel and the engine panel provide confirmation and identification of the affected engine. The engine page has automatically been called on the system display, and, in this example, the nacelle temperature needle is pulsing. Notice that there is a red Land ASAP message on the engine warning display. This means that ECAM has determined that the fault detected is serious enough to require a landing as soon as possible. The pilot flying maintains control of the aircraft and asks you, as pilot non-flying, to start the procedure. We will do the ECAM actions for you, starting with setting thrust lever 1 to idle.
Engine 1 has spooled down. The pilot flying increases the thrust of the remaining engines to MCT.
The next line on the ECAM procedure has now to be carried out. After confirmation, we will switch Engine 1 off for you. After switching Engine 1 off, the After Engine 1 shutdown procedure is shown on the engine warning display. Notice that the amber caution message has appeared below the red warning. This happens because you have to finish the engine fire procedure first before carrying out the actions for Engine 1 shutdown. The ECAM system has automatically allocated priority to the warning. As a result of switching off the engine, there is now a secondary failure. The next ECAM action is to push the Engine 1 Fire push button. We will do this for you. Notice that there is a white line in the abnormal checklist. In this example, there is a delay in discharging the agent to let the engine spool down. We have paused the countdown at 10 seconds. To continue the countdown, click on the forward arrow. When the countdown is complete, a blue action line appears telling you to discharge the first fire bottle. We will do this for you. The next action line is to notify air traffic control. Since the ECAM system cannot tell when you are talking, there is no feedback, so this line will not disappear. Notice that we still have a red fire indication, which means that the fire is not extinguished. Another condition line has appeared and the second countdown automatically starts. This one is 30 seconds long. We have paused the countdown. To continue the countdown, click on the forward arrow. Agent 1 managed to extinguish the fire. The countdown for Agent 2 stopped immediately. Notice that the engine fire procedure on the ECAM disappeared. This means the fire is out. The local warnings on the fire panel and the engine panel are no longer illuminated, confirming that the fire is out. Land ASAP has changed from red to amber, which means that ECAM has determined that the fault is less critical, but still requires a landing as soon as possible. The remaining steps are similar to those seen for an ECAM caution, so we will stop here. You have seen that the ECAM system has provided a smart and interactive checklist to help you deal with a major problem. When the messages and procedures displayed on the engine warning display have more than 7 lines, this is indicated by the green overflow arrow. Let's look at how ECAM copes with a long procedure. In this example, the indications for an engine fire on the ground, there is an overflow arrow to indicate that there is more information to be seen. For training purposes, we have shown the rest of the procedure below the engine warning display. We will complete the ECAM actions and you will see the associated line of the procedure disappear. As actions are completed, the rest of the information will be displayed and the overflow arrow will be removed. For this particular failure, on the status page, an overflow arrow also indicates that there is further information to be seen on a second page. By pressing a clear key, the next page can be displayed. Press a clear key. The second page of status information is displayed. Notice that the list of inoperative systems has not changed and that there is still an overflow arrow. Press a clear key. The last page of inoperative systems is displayed and the overflow arrow is removed. If you want to display the first status page again, the status key can be pressed. Press the status key. We are now back at the first status page again. You will have the opportunity to practice moving between status pages in the simulator, so we will stop here. To summarize, initially you see all the information on the left side of the status page, and then all the inoperative systems on the right. To complete this module, let's briefly look at ECAM priority. We will only use the bottom part of the engine warning display for this demonstration. You are partway through the Engine 1 fire procedure when ECAM detects another failure. The lower priority air abnormal bleed configuration procedure is displayed below the higher priority Engine 1 fire and Engine 1 shutdown procedures. Unfortunately, It is one of those days and another failure occurs. The autopilot off warning has appeared above the Engine 1 fire procedure. ECAM has automatically assigned priority to the autopilot off message because the first priority is always to fly the aircraft. The lower priority air abnormal bleed configuration fault is now off the screen. You are advised that the fault is still there by the non-starred air text in the right-hand column of the engine warning display and the green overflow arrow. We will clear the auto-flight autopilot off warning for you. The air abnormal bleed configuration message is back at the bottom of the engine warning display, and the air text has been removed from the right-hand column. In this module, we have discussed the ECAM system. You have seen the various failure levels and how the ECAM system alerts, indicates, and helps you deal with a failure. Throughout the ground school course and during your simulator sessions, you will have the opportunity to practice ECAM procedures.